I really ought to think about putting some sort of theme music for these videos, didn't I? Anyway, right, so this video is how to avoid all the roadworks between Junction 11, which we've just left, of the A55, and Llanberis village centre. I've just come off Junction 11, round the little roundabout, that's one stop, and I'm now heading down the A4244 in the general direction of Llanberis and the Penna Pass, Llanberis Pass, whatever you want to call them. Just a quick bit of background. National Grid are in the middle of an absolutely massive engineering project involving cabling from the Electric Mountain power station underneath Llanberis, and it's going from there to a distribution point. It's a new cable they're installing. The old cable is running out of steam. It's a massive engineering project, and they've had to change the route of it for ecological reasons, and it's causing, on average, 5 to 6 sets of temporary traffic lights on just a 7-mile stretch of road. So during the summer, apart from a few weeks, we're led to believe there's going to be quite a lot more disruption. So this video is designed to show you how to avoid the route of all those roadworks and give you a decent journey into the mountainous area. So if you only watch one video because you're coming into Llanberis or going up Penna Pass or into Snowdonia in general, this could be a really worthwhile video to watch. I'm not saying it's going to be entertaining, but just worthwhile. I hope it's useful to you. Why am I producing it? Essentially, I've had reports and anecdotal evidence, and I have seen some dents and bits and pieces of cars. There have been quite a few accidents during these roadworks so far, and there's no indication that that's going to change anytime soon, including a vehicle actually hit one of the traffic light vans. So yeah, hopefully it'll be worthwhile. So what we've done, we've come off, as I say, we've come down the A4244 as if we were going towards Llanberis as normal. This is all a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit road, and in a second, oh, by the way, there is where camera vans sometimes sits, on the right-hand side. Just thought I'd let you know. There's no indication that there's any problems here, and you should be able to just sail along here. Normally about 50 mile an hour. There might be hold-ups if you're in a car because of bicycles, but generally it's a nice free-flowing stretch. We're just about to leave this area. Excuse me, as we leave Pentir, we're now going to hit some nationals, and you can get a bit more of a wriggle on, but don't get too excited because we're about to come up to a roundabout. At this roundabout, all the signs will be directing you left towards Llanberis. If you go that way, as I say, there will be several sets of traffic lights for most of the year, and you don't really get into your stride. There's a fair amount of muck and grit and mud on the road. It's a bit difficult for filtering on a couple of the lights because they tend to be on solids and on bends, and yeah, you might not want to go there. If you want to go there, fine. It's just if you want to avoid it, I'm hoping this will help. As you come around this left hand bend, you'll see we are going to arrive at the roundabout. We are, instead of following the normal route, going to go straight on. Okay, we're going to take the second exit. That's the B4366 to Caernarfon. Nice little simple roundabout. If you get lost on that, then I'd be surprised if you've made it this far anyway. This is quite a good road for riding. It's nice and fast and flowing. There are some exits and entry points. Now there are a couple of lanes off this that I personally use quite a lot. But because they're not fast and flowing, I haven't shown them on this video. The only thing I would be saying is a bit of a thing to be aware of is as we've climb up here, excuse me, the road will bend round to the right, and there is a junction on the right hand side. Now, people often use that as a shortcut coming out of Bangor from one of the country lanes. It hasn't got the best visibility, so just be aware that if you are making progress, that there is this junction here in the right, and someone could come out in front of you. And then as we come round on the left, we have Idris Morris, who's an agricultural merchant. You've got plenty of vision to see if anyone's going to be cutting across your path or coming out in front of you. That little lane down on the left, fantastic, really good. Lane on the right goes down towards Fellinhelly. We don't want either of those. Although, if you've got a map out, go and explore the road down the lane on the left. It's really good. So we're heading in the general direction of Carnarvon. We're not going to be going there. We're only going to be following this road for a short distance. Oh, excuse me. I must stop my smoking habit. I'll have to give up tobacco. Maybe I'll mainline heroin instead, I don't know. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, so I don't smoke really. It's just a sad joke, dad joke. Anyway, here we go. We're now going to be coming down. We're in the 40s. We're now looking for the 30-mile-an-hour limit, and we're going to turn immediately left just before the chapel. Honest, there is a chapel coming up. I could at this point, seeing we're going to the chapel to get married, couldn't I? No, better not. No. So here we go. 30 limit, turn immediately left. If you miss this, you can always go to Carnarvon and then come back in a different route. It's actually quite a nice journey, actually, that one. Go through Pontrheg and then Llanberis. Okay, so later on, I make a slight mistake in my directions when I show you the map. There'll be a map at the end where I'm showing you the route to take. Lovely sweeping left, sweeping right. And on the sweeping left after this one, so between the sweep right, I'm going to sweep left again. I suggest that you take the road to left, avoiding the 30, and the main road goes to the right. It doesn't hit, it's actually the next junction. I'm an umpty. Familiarity breeds contempt, as they say, and yeah. So just follow the road round. It narrows here, so just be aware of that. Don't come tonking round there. Actually, riding a BMW round coming the opposite direction, I did hit a patch of gravel on the exit there. Well, that was interesting once. Right, so as we come up here, we're just going to go following left. There we go. Ignoring the 30s. So don't stay on the main road. If by any chance you do, don't panic. Just go to the end and turn left. And I'll show you in a minute where you'd end up. This is quite a nice little lane. It's a bit tighter, but again, you're heading clearly towards the mountains. You may well catch a view through a gateway showing where you're going to. I must admit, on the day I filmed this, it was glorious. There was snow-capped mountains, but it was a beautifully sunny day. What I would say is it was actually 2 degrees, 3 degrees, hence why I was in the car. So there you go. Oh, look, there you go. As if on cue, some bumpy bits with white on them. There you go. Now, this lane, a lot of locals do use it. So just be aware that you might get some traffic coming back the other way, and because it's a reasonably fast and open road, you may well find they are making progress too. So far we've been about 11 minutes on the journey. Now what I would say is, for the journey to take normally, that would be enough time to be roughly where we are now, 10-15 minutes. We would normally be the equivalent. We're not running much behind where we would be. However, with the roadworks, we're actually still, even though we're on slower roads, we're still actually probably as fast, if not possibly a bit quicker, than we would be if we'd gone on the main road with the lovely little traffic lights. Now as we come up here, this is coming up, I think this is, yeah, this is an odd junction, so we have to give way, and we're going to be turning right. The main road goes round in front of us, and it also narrows as we come down here, so it's well worth being aware of that. And as it drops down into the valley, this is the village. We're leaving Wine behind, and we're now coming down into Llanberis. Down on the road on the left down there is the very, very tight lane that I went down with saddlebags, which is barely wider than the bike a couple of years ago. It is definitely a yellow. If you look at it on the map, it is a yellow. Really nice footpaths following the old line of the railway along here. As you come over the bridges, you'll see there's a pub in front of us, and we're going to fork left in front of the pub. Okay. This is an unusual short stretch of road. It is a bit urban. I apologise for that. There's not a lot I could do, but I did want to avoid as many urban areas as I could. One thing I would say is the road surface is quite wide, rough, but it is wide. So we've gone straight over the crossroads at the far end of that road. We've missed the pub, and now we're heading straight up the hill. So you've gone over a set of crossroads. Ignore any road signs to Llanberis at that point. Okay, just ignore everything, just go straight over, and then take the first road on the left. It's a little crossroads, if I remember rightly. Now this is where the road gets, in my opinion, really quite beautiful. And so we're going to turn left here. Yeah, it's a staggered crossroads, isn't it? There used to be a little bakery there. Very nice. Chap closed down because he was retiring and it didn't make any financial sense anymore. Closed down last November. Lovely chap. Nice little bakery that was. It'll be missed. Yes, that's snow on top of that mountain. And here we go. I have featured this in a couple of early videos, but not in this context that we're trying to sort of avoid getting caught up in all these damn roadworks. So it was just always a nice alternative. Yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy this. Doesn't matter if you're on a bike or in a car, it's a really nice trip. However, on a bike you are less likely to get stuck. Lovely little castle here. It's a beautiful place. I never tire of going through here. And we're coming up, I think it's just around this bend actually, one of my favourite road signs. You don't get to see them very often. Migratory toad crossing. Yay! Yeah, I'm sad like that, alright? I admit it. Do you know, I've not seen any migratory toads crossing there at all. I could now do a political joke, couldn't I? But I don't think I will. I'll let you make your own ones up there. I'm sure you can think of something. You might want to put them in the comments, actually. I don't mind. It is popular with dog walkers, and if there's been an accident, this is the nearest diversion, really. So just be aware of it. Now, I have to admit, it took several goes at filming this, and it didn't really work out particularly well. but we thought we'd try and get you a gateway with a view. Well, it's not a particularly good view, but it's a gateway and there is a view. There'll be a later one coming up. Now you'll be aware that we've been climbing for quite some time. Since we left the river, we've gone up the hill on that wide road with lots of potholes in it, crossed over, we were gaining height, turned left, still gaining height, and we were still continuing to climb. This should give you a clue that we are now getting towards Llanberis, Snowdonia. We're not actually in the national park at the moment, but we are obviously heading towards Llanberis. Okay, so be aware, as I say, of vehicles coming down the hill. They do tend to come down quite quickly, and there's not that many escape routes, so just be aware of your safety. I can't be held responsible for you dying, but similarly, I'd rather, you know, nobody gets hurt anyway. Now, as you come up here, you may want to stop up here because the views are fabulous. There's a hint there. We've got a little hint there of a bumpy bit, and a lot of people do park up here. As you can see, there's someone actually having a snack on the left. That view is to die for. It's fantastic. Best in the afternoon because the sun is coming up behind you, and it is actually superb. That's Llanberis down there on the left. Mountain on the left, so Llanberis, that's Llanberis there, and Llanberis is going to come round. As we come round, that's Llanberis on the right hand side. You may remember, if you looked at my Honda CRF video, I did some stills here with some cattle. So sometimes there's sheep on here, sometimes there are bigger bovines. Do be careful. What I would say is, if you decide to bring a car down here, there is not a lot of room for error. So don't go flying down here thinking, yay, it's all good fun. Because if you come off, you ain't going to get back on very easily. This is actually used on road rallies sometimes. It was used earlier this year. And I reckon it would be a cracker on a road rally. Now again, there's another older video of mine which for some reason hasn't really sparked much interest, which I was quite surprised about. And if you look carefully to the right hand side on the wall, you may pick it up. I don't know whether you'll see it, but there is a white painted X on the wall. I'm looking for it myself now, to be honest. There it is. There's a really interesting story associated with that. It's not just there, a bit of graffiti. There is a real reason for it. I'll try and put a note up, if I remember when I edit the video, to share you all about it. It's well worth watching. It's really interesting. And it just gives an indication of the harsh life people have led up here over the past few centuries. As you can see, we've got a walker. There are a few footpaths crisscrossing here. It's really nice. I actually lost a front door key up here. I was walking a dog up here, and one day I just lost the door, dropped it out of my pocket, and I was the only one at home. I got all the way home and I can't get in. Came all the way back up here. The dog was enjoying it because he was having a long walk. Although, to be fair, he didn't actually like walking long distances, but he was okay. We came up, and to give you an idea of the amount of traffic that goes along there, the key was still sitting there, bright and shiny, right in the middle of the road. Half an hour later, however long it took. Right, although we've passed the cattle grid, you're now going to get possibly a lot more climbers. Some people may well camp overnight in some of these lay-bys as well. We're now going to begin to drop down towards the village. we're going to pass some slate quarry, which is coming up in a moment. It's like you're going over a bridge almost, and it effectively is just like a causeway, really. It's quite dramatic. Let's have a quick slurp of coffee while we get there. Look at those views. Oh, they're just to die for. They really are. It's tough living up here sometimes, as you can imagine. See that little farmstead, small holdings, whatever you want to call them up here. There are a few properties. It's not many. It's a lovely place to be. You'll start seeing a different gates, different wire fencing. Here we go. So this is now more industrial. Here we go, across the causeway. Now in my Dragon Rally video, I'll post something up here on that. Yeah, on that video, I mentioned it was 61 years old. The first rally took place down to our left in Glenrunwy. It would have taken place just down to the left of us here. This is going to be developed into an industrial estate. It hasn't really been properly developed. And that's where the bomb store is as well. You're not allowed in there. But you can see it's all fenced off. But this is where the first Dragon Rally was. Just down to our left. So we're losing height. We're still probably going to end up at being a couple hundred metres above sea level. But we are losing height. This always reminds me of Lord of the Rings type grottos and just that sort of landscape. It's really pretty down here. And you'll see that in a moment I bump down to a photographer. There we go. See, photographer. No, that is a man with a camera. Must be taking photographs. One of the key things is there's a factory to our left. That's Siemens. You know you're on the right track when you see that. You know you're getting nearer the village. There'll be more dog walkers. Not only do they walk up and down this lane, they cross into the footpaths. There's quite a few footpaths, but there's also a little parkland, woodland walk that you can do. A lot of people don't know about it, but you'll see a signpost for it after we've gone through this little stretch. I would warn you, I got lost in there with a dog one day. Instead of having like a 15-20 minute walk, I was in there for over an hour. But that's because I wasn't concentrating, because I'm a fool. But yeah, it's really nice, really pretty. So we're noticing more in the way of property down here. Some of it's beautiful like this one. Some of it you'll see is less so. There we go, that's the woodland walks. This is Old Terrace. When you get here, you know you're starting into the village. Beautiful little terrace, lovely. And just follow the main road down. As we come down here, we're essentially at Llanberis itself. We're going to end up opposite Pete's Eats. At the time of filming, Pete's Eats was closed for the winter. It may well be back open by the time you go there. When you get down to the crossroads, you could turn left or right or go straight over. Turn right, that's more the high street. Turn left, you're leaving the high street behind. And if you go straight over, you're heading towards the lake, and you'll see there's one of the paid car parks straight in front of you. So I hope you found this useful. There's a map instructions following on here straight after. In the meantime, thanks for watching. As I say, I do hope that gives you a pleasant journey into Llanberis, should you be deciding to come here during the summer and you want to avoid all the roadworks. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and any comments below be gratefully received. Thanks very much. Right, I'll now leave you to the map. So this is junction 11 here, the A55. And the route you see me take is, let's just come in closer, come round there, down the roundabout, that's the one-stop services. Just simply follow the road along, that's still signposted towards Llanberis. You'll pass Pentir, what's out of focus, isn't there? You'll pass Pentir and you come to a roundabout. That roundabout says Llanberis is to the left. If you go that way, you're going to start hitting the roadworks. You probably hit traffic lights as well there. So to avoid that, go straight on. Straight through here. And then just as you hit the 30 zone here, you turn off left. Now I've got to be careful here. You follow the road through, and where the main road goes down there, you take the left, which is basically like a straight on down here. You'll see that there's 30 signs just that side of the junction. Just follow that road along. Just follow the road along. And then after a while, you come to a junction where the main road comes round and you want to give way. So you need to turn right there, straight through, over the bridges, at the fork left, and then when you get up to the crossroads, just go straight over. There's a big pub there, which I've shown on the video. It says actually approached that pub from a different direction. I came from that way, but just go straight over. So first left, and then follow that road straight all the way through. Just follow it straight. Don't deviate at all. And that will take you, well, hey, all out of focus. It's difficult because my camera isn't really designed for that. But just follow it straight away, all the way through. And that will take you straight through into the middle of Llanberis. Straight over takes you to the Sword car park. Okay, so it's actually quite a simple trip, and that should save you somewhere in the region about 5 or 6 sets of roadworks traffic lights, and it's a pretty nice road too. There you go. Hope you found that useful. See you again soon. Bye.